No.
Okay, we got to switch gears now because we have a heartbreaking double murder. The victims, two sisters, both with children. One of them able to call 911 and accuse her brother-in-law, an ex-sheriff's deputy suffering from Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, before she died. ABC's Mara Schiavocopoulos here with the latest. Good morning, Mara.
George, good morning. Police know that suspect well. That's because he used to be one of their colleagues. Now they're trying to piece together not only what happened exactly, but why. Andrew Steele was a veteran sheriff's deputy. His wife, Ashley, described as the love of his life. But this morning, officials are calling Andrew Steele a murderer, saying he shot and killed his wife and sister-in-law Friday at their suburban home near Madison, Wisconsin.
I mean, events have shaken each and every one of us.
Police say the strongest evidence they have against Steele, a dying declaration from one of his victims. According to a newly released police affidavit, 38-year-old Casey Tullisbull, who was visiting her sister, called 911 Friday and reported that her brother-in-law, Andy Steele, had shot her in the back. When police arrived, they say they found Tullisbull still alive. And when asked who shot her, she replied, "My brother-in-law." Tullisbull later died at the hospital. Police say at the home they also found Ashley Steele, fatally shot, and later discovered Andrew Steele in the laundry room with a handgun laying on the counter.
Andy was an absolutely amazing, loving husband. Never any indication of a problem.
Steele was arrested Friday but has not yet been charged and is now being held at the county jail. The 16-year deputy retired in June after being diagnosed with ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease.
Ashley was his main advocate.
Ashley raised $75,000 for Andrew's medical care and posted numerous ALS Ice Bucket Challenge videos on Facebook. The couple have two small children. Tullisbull was also a mom and a newlywed.
Who seemed so happy right now with their life.
A life that went tragically off course. Police say there was no history of domestic violence between the couple. Their children, thankfully, were not home at the time of the shooting and are now safe with relatives. George?
Okay, Mara, thanks. Dan Abrams is back again. Boy, such a sad story. And first of all, let's talk about this testimony, the 911 call. It could be a key piece of evidence, but usually testimony isn't allowed if the witness can't be cross-examined.
Right. Hearsay evidence means a statement made out of court, as this was, where you don't have an opportunity to cross-examine the person who made the statement. In this case, that would seem to apply, except there's an exception to the hearsay rule called a dying declaration, which it sounds like this is a classic example of, which is not only does she call 911 and make the statement when the police arrive, she also makes another statement implicating him. So I don't think there's any question that if this case were to go to trial, that statement would be admitted as an exception to the hearsay rule.
And how about the fact that the shooter had learned that he was suffering from ALS? How does that play into the case?
It could cut either way. On the one hand, it could show a potential motive that he'd become despondent, given up on life, etc. And on the other hand, he could try to use it to his advantage to engender some sympathy, although I don't know that that's going to be particularly effective.
Wait, could he claim some kind of mental incapacity by the end?
Not mental incapacity. I mean, you can't say not guilty by reason of ALS. You'd have to say not guilty by reason of insanity, effectively not understanding the difference between right and wrong. That's not suffering from ALS. But in the context of sentencing, for example, it could help. Meaning, if there was a conviction and then there was a sentencing hearing and there was testimony as to how much he was suffering during this period, that could have an impact on a judge, but not as to guilt or innocence.
Okay, Dan Abrams, thanks very much.
All right, moving now to the new revelations about that young man, the homeless man who accompanied Miley Cyrus to the MTV Video Music Awards and gave that touching